Hi, welcome to AB-730 AI Business Professional Certification. I hope you have had the opportunity to watch the previous video and begin building your foundation in Microsoft Copilot. I'm Alexandra, an AI solution architect working at Microsoft. Over the past decade, I have taught technology in 5 different languages, giving me a wide-ranging global perspective. Born in Ukraine, I have been living in France for 11 years. If my international accent makes understanding difficult, you can use live captions for a smoother learning experience. You're welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn and learn more about my Microsoft journey by checking out aka.ms/Alexandra. In this module, we will focus on drafting business content using Microsoft 365 Copilot. The objective is practical: learning how to generate a first draft, then refine and enhance it to improve clarity, efficiency, and collaboration in everyday business tasks. In this model, we focus on realistic workspace scenarios. Imagine a common situation in a growing organization. You're asked to present quarterly performance to leadership. Detailed and sometimes complex information must be turned into a clear, concise message. At the same time, you're updating stakeholders while new requests continue to arrive. Deadlines are tight and priorities compete. Microsoft 365 Copilot is designed to support exactly this kind of workflow. It works directly inside Word, PowerPoint, and Outlook, so you can stay within the tools you already use. With a well-structured prompt, Copilot can generate a clear first draft that summarizes quarterly results. You remain in control, guiding and validating the content. For instance, you might refine the tone for an executive audience, highlight key risks, emphasize outcomes, or focus on conclusions instead of raw data. In this model, you will follow a complete workflow, from drafting a document to transforming it into presentation slides, to communicating key messages through email. The objective is to show how precise prompting can reduce manual effort and help you stay focused under time pressure. For tasks that require deeper analysis, you will also discover the researcher agent. This capability turns complex business questions into structured, well-supported insights suitable for reports and presentations. In today's fast-moving business environment, producing clear documents, strong presentations, and effective communication quickly is no longer optional. It's essential. Microsoft Copilot helps you work faster and more efficiently. Whether you're starting from scratch or building on raw ideas, Copilot helps you get moving. You can outline a report, create slides, or draft a professional email and instantly receive a solid first version. From there, refining is simple. With a short prompt, you can make the content more concise or more detailed, adjust the tone, expand key ideas, or simplify complex scenarios and sections. Copilot also helps organize your thinking. It can generate structured outlines, lists, and tables that make information clearer and easier to share. Communication becomes quicker as well. In Outlook, Copilot can draft invitations, follow-ups, and summarizes all your communication in seconds. In PowerPoint, it helps you build and refine presentations with clear messaging, stronger structure, and professional formatting. You can easily add summaries, conclusions, and key takeaways while maintaining a smooth flow. This all sounds powerful in theory, but how does it work in practice? Let's move from the overview to a real example and see how Copilot supports you step by step as your work takes shape. Once you have drafted your introduction and included key industry trends, the next step is presenting your team's performance metrics in a clear, visual way. Instead of manually rebuilding content, you can use Copilot in Word to transform a block of a text into a structured table. With just a simple prompt, Copilot converts written metrics into an organized format that makes results easier to read and compare. You can then refine the table by adjusting headers, formatting, or emphasis. And once everything looks right, save your document and move forward, knowing you're on track to meet your deadline. Now that the report is clear and well structured, it's time to think about how to present these insights to leadership. Turning your Word document into a PowerPoint presentation is a powerful way to communicate your finding with clarity and impact. With Copilot Chat in PowerPoint, you can transform written content into a visually compelling slide deck that highlights what matters most. As you prepare for upcoming leadership meeting, Copilot helps streamline the transition from a document to presentation. By referencing your Word content directly or passing it into Copilot Chat, you can ask Copilot to summarize and structure the information into presentation-ready content. You stay in control by refining the output, adjusting the tone, and shaping the message to be action-oriented and leadership-focused. Once the slide deck are complete, you simplify the process by saving the deck, ready to present with confidence. After completing your document and presentation, the final step is communicating progress to your leadership team. Often, this means summarizing a long email thread that already contains key context and decisions. Copilot in Outlook makes this easy by generating a clear, high-level summary of the conversation, helping you capture what matters without rereading every message. From there, you can ask Copilot to draft a professional, concise status email based on that summary. This end-to-end workflow shows how Copilot helps you move seamlessly from drafting a report to visualizing data to building a presentation and finally to communicating progress, all using the apps you already use every day. As you continue, remember that strong prompts and the right grounding, whether from your work or from the web, help you get the best results from Copilot in your daily workflow. And when you need deeper data or more comprehensive insights, the next unit introduces the Cop Research Agent, a pre-built Microsoft agent designed to gather and organize information from your work and the web to support detailed reports and presentations. Now that we have discussed what Copilot can do in Word, PowerPoint, and Outlook, let's bring everything together. In the next demo, you will see how these three steps work seamlessly across the interface, showing how Copilot supports you from drafting content to presenting insights and communicating progress, all in one connected, practical workflow. In this first section of the demo, we will start with the Word and Copilot in Word document. When you have Copilot activated in Microsoft Word, you will see the summary generated by AI on the top of your document, as well as the Copilot access in the top right corner. The summary will provide you one paragraph about the full document and basically a recap. You can change the size of your summary, you can copy it, as well as you can ask some follow-up prompts about the summary that Copilot proposed to us. By default, it's doing summarization. In the second section, Insights, we can review the key numbers about the document, as well as suggested Q&A. So if I, for example, work as a HR, it's very easy to imagine some questions and review the key info about Alex. In discussion, I will see the discussion around the document, and in activity, I will see who did what on this document. For a moment, I use my demo account, so I'm only one who interacted with this document. I can also use a podcast based on this document. I can generate it in one click. I can provide feedback to my team at Microsoft, saying if Copilot works fine or not via hands up, hands down. I can also rewrite with Copilot some part of the documents. I select the paragraphs that I want to rewrite, and I have a magical pen button available to me. I can select the version I want to keep with Copilot on rewrite. And if I want, I can also use Copilot to generate extra part of the document. For example, I have keep writing this, and it will give me some ideas what to add inside of this resume. So you can see generated extra paragraph as well here. On the right side in my Copilot chat, I can ask some follow-up prompts like list Alex skills and bullet points, for example, or draft a cover letter for Alex based on the CV. And by reviewing the data in the work mode, Copilot will use the document on our left side and generate this cover letter for Alex. So here we have a cover letter ready to copy-paste and send to the hiring manager. Also, if I don't have anything inside of my document and I just starting to write one, I can use the Copilot section to create a completely new document based on existing content or just based on my prompt. Or I use a prompt or I add something via plus. You saw that I also had this option. So if I ask for current trends in tech industry, in a wearable tech industry, it will create me some main ideas. I can also add some follow-up prompt here, for example, add potential risks. And if I submit it here, it will add risks to each section that it's pre-generated before. You see it has now each time a risk paragraph associated with each section. And I can review the first version of the reply and the second version if I want to compare and decide what I keep. So this way, I not only modify the document, but I also completely generated a new document that it's available now to share with my team or to download it. And by default, it was auto-saved in my OneDrive. When I use Word, I can generate new content or summarize existing one. In PowerPoint, it's the same. I can create a new PowerPoint. I can create a new PowerPoint from the file. I can add slides, topics, or ask some questions with Copilot. On my top right as well, I have my Copilot chat accessible. When I generate a new presentation with Copilot, I will have a possibility to submit some basic prompt here, like create a presentation about current trends and the wearable tech industry. And you see that by default, it will first suggest me the structure of my PowerPoint. If I want, I can just drag and drop those sections in different order. Change the slide order of my presentation, select the style that I like, or if you have some templates from your organization, you can pre-select them here. And after you pre-select recommended template or a template from your organization, you can also decide what are your image preferences. So here by default, I will keep AI-generated images, but also I could select a style that works well with my organization. After I pre-selected the topic, structure, and the style, PowerPoint will be created by my Copilot, and I can follow the process in real time. It could take a few minutes. What I really like about Copilot is that each time I'm generating something, I can see the steps in real time, so I know what Copilot is doing. As soon as it's done, I can open the presentation and the new tab and review the slide deck. So you see it's created multiple sections for me, very nice. I can also review all slides one by one. You see it's added some animation for me. And if I want, I can now focus on each slide, verify the information is correct, or replace some images if I don't like them as I used AI-generated images. On the left side of Copilot, I have Designer button that could help me fastly modify the template and the design of my slides in one click by changing the location of the images and text. A really nice option if you're not satisfied with the original proposal of Copilot. I can also use Copilot to translate my presentation from English to French in one click. This is a very useful feature for those who are working in international companies. Sometimes we need to make the same presentation twice in different languages, and it's much, much simpler with Copilot to create this translation in one click. So let's review the results. Now I have the same slide deck in French, very nicely designed, easy to complete the step, and very fast as well. If you look on other options here, as I used to create a new presentation from zero from my prompt, I could also create a presentation from a specific file that is stored in my cloud. So if I want to create a presentation about Alex based on his resume, it's very easy. I just select the CV file and it will pre-generate for me different section of my presentation. By default, it will use the template that I opened when I submitted my prompt. So if you don't have your template saved in my organization section, you can just open any template from your company and click on create a presentation based on existing opened in a PowerPoint template. So this time I did select a different template, but if your corporate template are not saved inside Copilot, you can also open presentation and create based on provided template. So let's see what it did for Alex. This time it did create multiple slides, starting with introduction, some summary, professional objectives and approach, very nice. It's adjusting the images according to Alex specification, as Alex working in animation. And again, I will use Designer maybe just to improve some slides. Designer is on the left side of my Copilot. And Copilot itself on the top right helps me to go and generate some images for the slide, summarize this presentation, or take some takeaways. By default, it will be in the work mode because I'm using my work documents here. So if I ask Copilot to summarize this presentation, it will create an interactive summary in a few seconds. Also, it means that I can collaborate between Word and PowerPoint. I could generate this PowerPoint based on Word, and after that, use the Copilot chat to ask some questions and maybe create my cover letter in Copilot inside of PowerPoint as well as we did before in Word. What I also like about Copilot option here, it always provides the links and provide some nice follow-ups, not like, for example, adding speaking notes, drafting a LinkedIn bio for Alex, and so on. So in a few clicks, we did a full personal branding for Alex by using Copilot in Word and PowerPoint. And here we have a LinkedIn bio ready to copy-paste and add to the portal. As we saw Copilot in Word and PowerPoint, we now know how to generate files, ask question, translate them, that we always find Copilot. On the top right, we can also move from Word and PowerPoint to Outlook by asking Copilot inside of Copilot chat options straight away to create an email to share the overview of this PowerPoint. And Copilot will generate us ready to use an email inside of Outlook to share the information that I provided in this PowerPoint. So what it will do, you can see the steps in real time. It's reviewed the data. It's added email subject, email body, and I can just copy paste it to my Outlook and send it to my colleagues and add this PowerPoint to the attachment. Our third tool in this demo, Outlook, also has a possibility to use Copilot to write some mails from zero, to rewrite some mails. I have auto-rewrite option available to me. I have a magical pen next to my text that can I use. I can review what Copilot suggests and replace my previous version with this one. I can use get coaching option, make it shorter, longer, or change the tone, simplify, make it more professional, fix the grammar and spelling, and so on. Very useful. It's like your spelling coach available 24 hours every day to help you make the best possible mails. So here I see my coaching results, tone, sentiment that the reader will have, clarity, and I can apply all suggestions from my Copilot coach in one click and review the version of my mail and replace the current version with the suggested one. And now if I want just to modify some specific part of this mail, I can also use Copilot to do so. What else I can do here, except of using this small button to write? I can also use Copilot chat inside of Outlook to ask some questions about the content like we did in Word and PowerPoint, for example, to summarize some email threads or to find specific mail inside of my organization, or help me to draft a summary of communication between different team members that I'm working with. So this Copilot on the right side is also available to improve your experience. You can change the size of the section, make it bigger or smaller, and so on. You see, it takes a bit of time that my Copilot is loading, and I just will refresh this section again. You can also use Copilot to create summaries of my mails. I can select any mail and see the summary of this thread on the top and ask Copilot some questions about this thread to summarize it, to summarize and reply automatically, for example, and so on. Very useful feature if you have very long thread of exchanges and you have been on vacation and you want to know everything that happened in your organization in one click. In this case, Copilot can read the mail, summarize the key points, and ask more questions regarding it as well. So here let's provide some key summary that we can review, and as well it suggests some questions inside. We can just copy paste this follow-up inside, or there is another way of using Copilot to reply. When I hit reply, in the bottom part of my reply will have 4 options. For example, check application, thanks to the update. If I click on the button, by default Copilot will pre-create me an answer of this demo based on the buttons that I selected, like here, thank you for the update, I appreciate this information. I can send it straight away. For sure, you always need to check what a Copilot suggests. So you have a summary by Copilot, you have a Copilot chat on the top that you can use to communicate with your Copilot, as well as you have this open Copilot inside of the mail if you want to use Copilot to write better your mails, or the buttons on the mail reply in order to answer fastly your mails. So we saw Copilot in Word, we saw Copilot in PowerPoint, as well we did discover together Copilot in Outlook. I hope you enjoyed this demo. Let's come back to our presentation. The Researcher Agent is your intelligent research assistant built into Microsoft 365 Copilot. You can think of it as a supercharged research partner that helps you gather, analyze, and summarize information from both your work content and the public web. Instead of scattered notes or long reading sessions, researcher delivers a structured, easy-to-read report tailored to your dedicated question, helping you make better decisions faster. It's designed for a deeper discovery, supporting multi-step research across internal documents and external sources, producing clear summaries with citations and even asking clarifying questions along the way, much like a human colleague would. The output is ready to use directly in Word, PowerPoint, or Outlook, saving you time when moving from insight to action. Unlike standard Copilot chat, which focuses on drafting and editing, the researcher agent is optimized for synthesis and insight generations. To use it, you need a Microsoft 365 Copilot license, and you can access it through the Microsoft 365 Copilot app in the browser or desktop, where it's pre-pinned under the Agent section. Keep in mind that you can run up to 25 combined queries per month across the researcher and analyst agents. Now, let's see the researcher agent in action. In the next demo, you'll see how to guide the agent towards the insights you need. To find research agent, I will open my Microsoft 365 Copilot, and on my left side, I have my agent list. The first agent available here is my researcher agent. If you don't see it, you have also it in your all agents list straight here. It's a pre-built agent available to you. When you open it, you can submit some basic prompts like research the latest trends in AI for retail and draft market analysis report based on competitor data. I can add some work content. I can select the resources that I want to use to make my deep research about this topic. I can activate, deactivate my resources, and I can select a specific source of information by using the search bar on the top, like Power BI, for example. In the bottom part, I have different ideas of the prompt that I can use with my research agent, like project updates, topic reports, customer brief, and so on. Don't hesitate to check and use those pre-built prompts as well. If you click on it, you will need just fill missing parts of the prompt. You see that each time when I click on any pre-built prompt, I can use it straight away inside of my agent. And if you run the prompt that I sent, it will first of all ask me some follow-up question here to provide me more specific answer by asking some question what you're interested in, if I want to focus on specific market. And after answer follow-up question, I can also click on the button short or long to decide if my report should be short or quite long. So I can also use follow-up questions here and specify what I want to include inside of the results provided by my researcher agent. What I really like about this agent is that I can also follow its thoughts in real time. It's provide me all thinking steps. If I want, I can review different steps that a researcher applied here. So we'll see the list of all steps that it's completed for me. One by one. I see that it did a lot of work in a few minutes. If you select a long report, it can run for 10 minutes, and search information for short, it can take up a few minutes. And after that, if you scroll a bit here, we'll see that it's provided quite completed report, including some key numbers in. I can also focus on the steps that it's completed. And if you look on the output, there is this section with the key results that I can copy. Very nice way to discover the information. It started with the key AI trends with the bullet point list. It also provides to each bullet point some sources that it's used. We can scroll a bit down to review the main trends that it discovered and the data sources. It's my competitor analysis. There is also a comparison of top 5 competitors with some recap in the bottom part. And even I selected a short report, you see it's quite long with a lot of detailed information and the link to all the sources that it used to generate it. After I finished my work by searching it, I can open it in the Word, I can copy it, create a page, add it to the pages or read aloud, or to use few follow-ups prompts here, like summarize key AI trends and compare AI strategies to discover even more the topic. In my chat list, I will find this discussion that we have with my agent and also my agent icon, so I know straight away that this chat was created via researcher agent. Easy to use, very useful if you want to be specific about sources that you want to use, and as well have more deeper and concrete report inside of Copilot. I highly recommend to test this agent. I hope you enjoyed. Let's come back to our presentation. Let's recap what we have covered in this model. You explored how Microsoft Copilot works across Word, Outlook, and PowerPoint to help you draft, refine, and enhance documents, emails, and presentations. You saw how Copilot supports everyday workflows, from starting with a blank page to delivering polished professional content. You were also introduced to the researcher agent, which helps you go deeper by turning complex questions into structured, insight-driven outputs. There are many ways to continue your learning journey, and I encourage you to watch the other videos in this course or explore topics on Microsoft Learn at aka.ms/learn. Thank you for spending this time with me, and happy learning!